So if you're starting a business, how should you fund that business? It really depends on your situation and the type of business and how much it's going to cost to start the business. There are a long list of ways that you can fund a business, and you can even use multiple different ways. So for starters, funding the business yourself just from your savings, funding it yourself from, a line of credit, a personal loan, even a credit card could be an option, or a loan from someone you know. You could fund the business with money from, help from friends and family members. Maybe they're gifting you some money. Maybe they're setting up a business loan, just a private loan through them. So that can be an option as well. Another option would be to actually get a business loan or a business line of credit or a business credit card. You could also apply for grants and funding. There are plenty of different organizations or government organizations that will provide startup capital to startups, especially for certain types of industries or certain types of demographics. So that can be a good option as well. You could look for investors, either investors who are just kind of like silent investors and just want to give you, kind of a loan to start the business. They want their money to come back and maybe they want some type of royalty. Or you could find active investors who actually want to be part owner in your company. Or you could find investors who really just want a return on their investment. Maybe they're more like venture capitalists who are going to give you some money, but they're also going to help you with the strategy and the operations of the business in hopes that it will be successful, and they're not only going to get their money back, but they're going to get some extra money back because the business performs really well. Another option to fund the business would be crowdfunding. So there are ways to do that. There are websites like Kickstarter where you can, post that you're starting a new business and kind of just reach out to the general public to try and get investors or funders in that method. So there are a lot of different options. And I would say it really depends on your preference and your situation. Maybe if you're starting a business that only requires $1,000 to start it, you probably have that in savings. And so you don't need to go to a bank. You don't need to find investors. You can just start that out of pocket. Whereas if you're starting a business that's maybe $100,000, maybe you don't have that in savings. So you might want to apply for a business loan. You might want to seek a business partner. You might want to apply for some grants. So use some of those options that I mentioned and maybe use multiple of those methods to fund the business. You don't just have to choose one way. One thing that I would typically advise against would be using credit cards for long-term debt. So it might be a good idea to use your credit card temporarily to pay for something that you're going to pay back within a month or two, and you're not really going to collect any interest on that. But if you are using a credit card to start a business and you're just going to make monthly minimum payments for, multiple months or years, that's not a good idea because interest rates are so high on credit cards. So if you need longer term debt, it's better to get a business loan or a business line of credit rather than using credit cards. But again, there are lots of options. Figure out which one makes most sense for you or combine the various different options. And just be mindful of interest. Interest can really add up. So you want to limit that as much as you can. Maybe you don't really need much to start the business, but you want some money available just as kind of a reserve account to operate the business. In that case, maybe a line of credit makes the most sense because with a line of credit, if you're not using it, you don't have to pay interest. When you take money out of the line of credit to actually buy something, that's when you start paying interest. Whereas with a business loan, you're always paying interest on the amount that you have, even if you're not really using it, even if it's just sitting in a savings account. So maybe if you get approved for a business loan that's much more than you need, it might be a good idea to put some of that in a savings account where you're collecting some interest on it rather than just paying interest without it doing anything for you. So hopefully that was helpful. Leave a comment below if you have any questions around business management.